It's not unusual for big city museums to get all the attention. Sometimes, though, the smaller county museums offer some of the best walks through Tennessee history. Laura Faber went to the Robertson County History Museum recently, and she discovered it's far from a little closet full of artifacts.
Just off the pretty town square of Springfield, a stone's throw from the courthouse, sits a beautiful building that's packed with history. What was the original post office back in the early 1900s is now the Robertson County History Museum and has been since 1998.
And we're not just a dusty old museum. We're dedicated to preserving our history, preserving our artifacts, and becoming an educational center for not only the Robertson County people or citizens, but also the students.
Danny Atchley is president of the Robertson County Historical Society. He says what visitors will first notice is the architecture of the building. Constructed in academic Roman Revival style, it boasts arched windows, brass handrails, and a gorgeous terrazzo floor bordered by rose-colored Tennessee marble.
People come in and they look at, especially that lobby, they look and they go, oh wow, this is something, this is special.
This museum also has everything that is Robertson County, from the Civil War to agriculture, Main Street, Springfield, whiskey and tobacco, specifically dark-fired tobacco.
It's still kind of controversial, I guess you'd say. Robertson County wouldn't be where we are right now without tobacco. It was a cash crop. It was always grown here. The unique thing about Springfield and Robertson County is we're one of the few counties in the country that grows dark-fired tobacco. Now, dark-fired tobacco is a unique tobacco crop, and it takes special soil, which is found here.
Dark-fired tobacco is used in chewing tobacco and snuff, not cigarettes, but it does smoke.
In the fall, tobacco farmers will bring the tobacco in and they'll hang it inside these barns, and then they will light sawdust, which will smoke the tobacco that's hanging there and gives it a unique color and also a unique flavor. Oftentimes when people that are new to the area, they'd be driving down the highway and they'd see a barn off the road and see smoke coming out of it, and they would stop and tell whoever lived there, your barn's on fire.
Janet Palmore is operations manager of the museum.
We are recognized by the state as one of the top museums because we do, carry such rich history here.
She says visitors definitely gravitate toward a couple areas of the museum.
All right, Janet, this exhibit is interesting to people. Why? What are we looking at?
We're looking at some of the tobacco exhibit we have here at the museum, and it is so popular because we're from Robertson County and we're known as the world's largest dark-fired tobacco. And a lot of people here, their family and grandparents and stuff have grown tobacco, and it's still known throughout the parts of Robertson County. I find the 1892 Winchester Night Rider gun right here to be pretty, neat to see because it's one of the guns that would have been used during the Night Riders' time. This is just a replica of a tobacco barn that if you're riding around Robertson County, you're definitely going to see them, and they're going to be smoking around fall time.
Which means there's
tobacco in it.
Another popular exhibit tells the story of the Westington Plantation.
The Westington Plantation was made up of thousands and thousands of acres. It was settled by the Washington family, and they were cousins of George Washington, the first president of the United States. And they settled there on a land grant and amassed all this property. And of course, tobacco was king. They started raising huge amounts of tobacco. Tobacco is very labor intensive, even to this day. And so they, unfortunately, had to have a lot of manpower, and in those days it was slave power. And Westington Plantation, just prior to the Civil War, had almost 300 enslaved people that lived and worked there.
For years, the exhibit remained the same, but it's about to be updated thanks to local author and resident John Baker Jr. He saw this photo in a textbook while in school and came to learn that he was related to that family, one of many enslaved on the plantation. What he found on the journey into his past will be on display here.
This is the existing exhibit of Westington Plantation, one of the largest tobacco plantations in the country, but this is about to change. What's coming?
We're going to tell the rest of the story. What happened to the formerly enslaved people of Westington Plantation after the Civil War ended? Well, first thing they did, they started building churches. Second thing they started to do was build schools. Third thing they started to do was buy property so they could become landowners. And then the fourth thing, those people that left Westington Plantation started their own businesses, many of them right here in Springfield.
The goal has always been to preserve the history of Robertson County, and you can find it inside this small town museum with big and important history lessons.
I love working here because you get to meet new people and you get to meet the little ones that's coming in on a field trip. And you're someone who plants a seed that may make them grow, into a historian as well.
We're very proud of what we do, and we're very proud of what we preserve.